Let's take a look at the differences here, if we can. Some of the small parts that makes a combat NCO what it is versus, shall we say, a normal 1911 pistol made by a popular maker. What we're going to look at first is one of the most important things on the pistol, or on any of these pistols, is a simple thing called a bushing. It needs to have at least 1/1000th clearance in order to function. A lot of them have excessive clearance in their barrels, which does not allow that barrel to come back into a battery in the same place all the time. We can look at our bushings and tell from this pistol's bushings that we just borrowed this morning, as I think you noticed, and our bushing, which is made out of S7 tool steel. One of the other things that we're going to look at here too is on a conventional barrel like this one, we have a barrel link that was invented by John Browning. And regardless of what type of pistol that you buy today for how much money or how custom or not, it still has this link in it. Another thing that we're going to look at here too on ours is the differences in the types of springs. In looking at this spring from this maker, this is a pretty good one. We can look at it to see what's been done to it or altered, but our springs that we use in the combat NCOs are normally from STI. They have some adaptations to it, but what we really like about it is the steel itself. We require a 2.5-pound trigger pull on combat NCOs for offensive use. We do not use and cannot use or support any trigger pull that's over 3.5 pounds for that purpose. Okay. Let's take a look real quick now and let me show you a little bit of the difference here that people can understand. The link is the link between your frame and your pistol. And in order to have continuous accuracy, this barrel can't move around like this when the gun closes, functions at all. Well, what happens is one time it's going to hit your slide in one angle or direction because the bushing is loose. This is a very loose engagement. And what it means is when it engages the locking surfaces inside the slide, it'll start chipping away those surfaces and wearing out your slide. That is the principal reason why the maximum effective life of a 1911 pistol by the military is considered to be 16,000 rounds. Because after that it's too loose to be salvaged. In a combat NCO, that is 150,000 rounds. And we warrant our pistols for the life of the owner for any reason or cause, including abuse. So if we take now and look at a combat NCO link, you'll notice immediately how wide it is. In fact, it's as wide as possible in this design. It will not flop around either in its surface at all. In fact, it doesn't move at all unless you move it by hand. You'll notice in here as well that it fits very tightly. Very tightly. Very tightly, because she won't move. You know what I mean?
So you're not getting any of that wiggle back and forth, or say even side to side?
None whatsoever. So the fact that this link, and this is called a military link, and it's installed on an unmodified barrel, and what it does is allow this pistol to extend its life and its accuracy for more than 150,000 rounds. We're looking at the links.
More than 16,000 for standard military.
Absolutely. And if we look at the two standard links,
no comparison.
There's no comparison at all. Let's go over here and look at this disassembled combat NCO. And you'll notice immediately the nose piece that we spoke of earlier. This particular one has a detachable threaded nose piece bushing. The reason for that is that other attachments could be used, in this case a silencer. The next thing we're going to look at on here is the hammer. The hammer, if we're looking at, let's say, this combat NCO, and we look at it with the hammer down, one of the problems here is that if the pistol is dropped, then mud in its safe position will be obviously accumulating in this surface.
Possibly causing a malfunction.
Well, if you fire it with a conventional hammer, the probability of it firing is rather remote. All right? And so we have hammers on a combat NCO that are rebated in the surfaces here on either side to allow the mud to be blown away when it fires.
Oh, me darn. Okay.
The second thing, and
Which you will not find on a conventional commercial 1911.
No, you don't. Some of the pistols have picked up on these little nuances because they don't understand what it was for. But if we look inside, now this is a conventional hammer. It has no rebated surfaces. If you look in the NCO here on the inside, you see this little silver surface. Yes. Well, what's happened is the second thing that can cause this pistol to malfunction is if mud now jams into the lower section of the pistol and prevents it from functioning.
So a double whammy in essence.
Yes. So what happens is in the surface here inside the frame is a reservoir on both sides. We put nickel anti-seize in there. I'll explain to you what that is in a moment. And what happens is the mud is pressed in here, and it can stay in here for a year, two, or whatever. But it keeps this pistol functioning.
Okay.
The next thing on the pistol is, in the criteria of the military, was halo jumping, sub-zero temperatures, 40 degrees below zero. The pistol itself does not want to function, cycle, or freeze. So what happens is we cut these recesses, and probably you can see another here.
Sure. Yes, I can.
Those are reservoirs. We put in another material that I invented early for the Gatling gun, and that is called nickel anti-seize today. It will not seize or freeze from minus 76 below zero to 1200 degrees Fahrenheit. So what we do is we pack these four areas here and the two areas on the frame, and what happens is when the pistol is either in a freezing condition, it allows it to function freely, or in a combat condition in the desert, let's say, it allows it to function under extreme heat and bleed it out to keep it functioning, and it packs residue and impurities, dust, sand, and so forth into those recesses and allows the gun to function. Once you read the articles on Joseph Brazier website under news, then you'll become an authority on what a combat 1911 pistol is, what perhaps your pistol doesn't have on it that you can buy to upgrade that pistol. But it'll make you a professional when we talk about automatic pistols on what this gun is.